Hey guys, it's Christine with Indigo Wings. I am an intuitive tarot card reader, as well as an energy healer, and I am bringing you this week's twin flame energy reading. This week I'm going to do the full spread. Last week, if you watched, I did the mini reading. The mini reading is a new offering that I have available. You can get it through my website. I'm getting ready to go on vacation pretty soon, and I think probably on Monday I'm going to be turning my store off, but you will be able to still order the twin flame mini readings if that's something that you're interested in doing. I'm going to bring my cards with me on vacation, and that's a reading that I can do more easily while I'm traveling versus the bigger spreads. So that will still be available for people if you're looking for a reading. This week's video is for August 14th through the 20th. I believe I'm taping this on Saturday, which is the 13th. So we just started Mercury retrograde. Don't freak out. Mercury retrograde does not have to be a huge deal. Be gentle with yourself. Double check communications. Take your time with the things that you say. Make sure you're thinking about what you're saying, how it can come across, because sometimes communication can not go very well. If you're traveling, make sure that you are allowing yourself extra time to get to where you're going. And this is a good time to, relax, rejuvenate, redecorate, anything, reorganize, anything with an RE in it, revisit things for yourself. That doesn't mean, and some people say, you shouldn't do this, that, or the other thing during Mercury retrograde. I don't know. You have to live your life. Just double check everything, and just do the best you can. If you have to revisit something after Mercury retrograde, well, so be it. Okay, so I mentioned that I'm going to be closing my online store, I think probably Monday or Tuesday. But the mini twin flame readings will still be available. This coming up week, we don't have anything major happening energetically aside from the beginning of Mercury retrograde, which for some people, that's enough. We're still dealing with the energies of the full moon eclipse. And then, we're coming up on that solar eclipse, full solar eclipse and new moon on August 21st. So I'm kind of interested just to see how the energy shakes out and what things look like for people. If you are having a hard time, because this has definitely been, an intense period of energy. I have been very tired. I'm not sleeping well, and it's definitely, an effect of the energy for me. If it's having an effect on you, just take it easy and do the best that you can, and just take care of yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm like I've said, I'm interested to see kind of where things settle in September and kind of what things are looking like for the collective. So I'm going to jump into the reading. This side of the spread is the feminine, this side is the masculine, and I do refer to the masculine and the feminine, even though this can pertain to same-sex relationship as well. If this message doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. It's just not the message for you. Don't worry about it. But if this message does resonate with you, then I'm the reader for you. And, if it feels like I'm talking to you, then I'm the reader for you. And, contact me and we can set up a personal reading for you. So I'm going to get started. I was actually really, I really liked how this spread kind of turned out. And a lot of what I'm seeing in the beginning of the spread, I'm seeing in my day-to-day interactions with my clients and people in the twin flame community. So, it's always interesting, sometimes I'm never sure like which cards I want to start with, because sometimes I want to talk about them at the same time, but I can't do that. So the card that comes up first for the feminine is control. And what I'm seeing happen with this card is that the feminine are they're still trying to control what this looks like for them, what their relationship with their twin looks like. And you can't do that. Even though it's something that I think for many is just instinctual. You have expectations, you have goals, you have visions, you want things to be a certain way, and that's control to an extent. Even telling your twin, I don't like it when you do X, Y, Z, and I'd like you to do A, B, and C. That's control. Now, I'm not saying that if somebody is treating you in a way that is, not in integrity and, an abusive situation or anything like that, I'm not saying to put up with things like that. But what I'm saying is that, here, I'm going to show you. So the card for the masculine is simply love. And the message I'm getting with these two cards is that he's doing the best that he can just to love the feminine. And the feminine is saying, yeah, well, you need to do it better. You're not doing this good enough. Well, how can we put parameters on how a person can love another person? And yes, feminine twins, like we can have standards of what we would like or what we expect. But it gets like we're still trying to like it's still like a form of control when we're doing that. So with these two cards, I really feel like the masculine, he's just doing the best he can, just trying to offer what he can right now. And the feminine's trying to mold it and shape it into what she wants it to look like. Now remember, the plan that the universe has for you might be way better than what you can even imagine. So it might not look like what you want it to look like. It might look better down the road, but because you're trying to control things, you are delaying getting to where you want to go. And again, like I said, like the masculine's just in this place of like, I want to love you, and the feminine's like, I want to tell you how to do it. And that has to stop. That the feminine needs to let go of that need to control things. And being somebody that has a tendency to like to control things and comes from a family that I don't want to call my family control freaks. Mom and my sister, if you're watching this, I don't mean it that way. But they're very type A. And I'm a lot less type A than they are. But I'm still type A. And so I know that it's very hard to let go of control of things. So it takes time, but be aware of where you're doing it. And the clarifying cards that I pulled here, so for control, for the feminine, I pulled I love you, which confirmed for me what I was getting about the masculine, that, you know, he just wants, I love you, this is what I can do right now, and she wants to control that. She wants to mold it to be what she wants it to be at this time. And the masculines in the simply love, and his clarifying card here is be in the present and dream of the future. And, you know, so what I'm getting with this card is that, you know, his mind is open to what the future could look like. They are controlling things much less than the feminine is. But they're like, hey, this is my current reality, whatever it looks like for them. Whether you live really far away from each other, there's job issues, there's kid issues, there's other relationship issues, whatever it looks like. They're like, okay, this is my reality, but I still love you, and this is what I can offer you because this is where I am. I'm in the present. But they are still thinking of the future. They have something in mind down the road that they would like, you know, but they're really just trying to be and let things be where they are, you know. And so, you know, feminine, that's just something for you to think about. You know, even as much as we want them to think about how we feel, you know, I can't imagine it makes them feel very good when they're just kind of offering what they can and what they have, and that's not good enough. So the next card for the feminine, trust. And this card is coming up because this is gonna look differently for different people, but this card is, you know, like it's a form of surrender. It's a form of, you know, trusting that, you know, things are gonna work out the way that they're supposed to. But what I'm getting from this card is that, you know, some of the feminine are going to realize that they need to let go of control, and they're going to work on that, and they're going to say, like, they're going to trust that they just need to stop trying to control what this looks like and just accept where it is. But with that, I know that there are a lot of feminine twins that aren't necessarily satisfied with the connection that they currently have with their twins. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, and I'm hearing from a lot of my clients, I've been talking to a lot of different people in the community, and just friends of mine, that there is this very interesting feeling that's coming up of not, you know, I need to break things off with my twin, I need to end things with my twin, but this feeling of expansion and being pulled forward, being pulled to continue moving forward on the journey, and realizing that there's a chance that the twin might be stuck where they are, and maybe it only lasts a little while, but maybe it lasts longer. You know, but it's this understanding, you know, there's a sadness along with this, but there's this understanding that for the feminine, that like there's just this pull from deep within that I have to keep going. I have to keep moving forward. I can't be stuck with you anymore. And there's no judgment for what they're doing. There's, they have to do what they have to do. And the feminine is saying, I have to go where I'm being pulled to go, whatever that looks like. And it's not, like I said, it's not cutting off contact. It's not saying goodbye. It's not a breakup. It's not a separation, but it's trusting that moving forward with your own journey is okay. And trusting that feeling that you need to keep moving forward, even if the twin is not moving forward with you. And with this, if you're able to kind of move into this place and move through this place and just kind of let yourself be guided on how that looks for you. For a lot of you, it's going to be focusing on yourself and getting your shit together. And whatever that looks like. For some of you, that's finances. For some of you, that's your home life, your personal life, like your actual environment. Getting that to a point that, you feel good about when you're in your own environment at home. For some of you, that means, focusing on your mission or your own work or whatever is, whatever feeds your soul. Just trusting and having faith and taking that leap and, knowing that it will all be okay if you just do those things. And the clarifying card is the 9 of Water, and this is a card of, your dreams are coming true. Life is great. And, I feel like this was another confirmation that if you can allow yourself to move with that energy, you're going to grow into a greater love of life. Things are going, your worries are going to feel less. They're, and you're going to be able to start realizing the dreams that you want are possible and start making them an actual reality. Now, the card that comes up next for the masculine is Observe. And I feel like what's happening here is that, when the feminine, for those of you who embrace this energy of, I gotta just go, I gotta do me, that might take you away from your twin a lot bit for some, a little bit for others, where you may not engage in your typical behaviors. You may not reach out to them as often. You may not respond to their messages as often. The dynamic is going to change a little bit. And I think it's going to be a little bit of a jolt to the masculine to say, you know what, maybe I need to take a look at my interactions and my past interactions with this person. And maybe I should try to see my behavior from their perspective and how I would feel if someone was acting that way towards me. Because, for the masculine that have been getting a lot of attention from their feminine and they start getting less, like they're going to be a little put off by that. And so they're really going to be looking at things in a different light. They're going to be looking at things from a different perspective. So the clarifying card here is the Two of Air. And hold on one second. Sorry for that interruption. It doesn't matter if I tell my kids that I'm doing a video, somebody always comes and interrupts me. That's mom life. So the clarifying card that I got with Observe was the Two of Air. And the message I'm getting here is that for a while, like many of these masculine twins, they know that their interaction with their feminine twin kind of sucks. They are doing the best that they can, but they also do know deep down that if their feminine twin treated them the way that they treat their feminine, they would probably not be sticking around. Now, granted, we know this is a different type of relationship and, the push-pull and that whole thing, and that they probably would stick around. But they're for a very long time, they've pretended not to see that. Like, they've kind of been like, oh, I've got too many other things in the fire right now that I can't with this. And they just kind of push it to the side and pretend that this is, my interaction with this person isn't an issue. I don't have to deal with it. And there's some stubbornness for some there, like a not wanting to admit, or not that they don't want to admit, but there's like a stubbornness because many of them have given away their power in other situations. They're trying desperately to maintain control in situations where they really don't have to do that. So that's kind of where they're gonna go. The next card for the masculine is Nurture. And this card, the woman on the card is looking in the direction of the feminine. And the message I'm getting with this is really that there, I don't want to say all of them, because there are some that, are just thick and they're just not ready to see what is there yet. There are some that they're just not there. And, we have free will, we make our own choices. And so there are some that won't do this, but for those that do, they go through the seeing things from another perspective. They're going to say, you know what, I need to, and they're not saying I need to nurture this relationship, but they're realizing that this connection needs a little TLC and that they need to pay a little special attention and maybe, rework how they interact with their female twin or feminine twin. And the clarifying card that I pulled here is Awakening. And, literally, like, this period is a moment where they're kind of, having like an epiphany, like, oh, and it's stemming from looking at things from another perspective. And the angel on this card is upside down, and that's one of the meanings of this card, is looking at things from a different perspective. And so, again, this card's another confirmation that, this newfound nurturing energy that will be put forth into the relationship and into the connection is stemming from this new perspective. The card that comes up next for the feminine is, sorry, can't pick my cards up today, is well-deserved reward. And, you know, and I kind of feel like, yes, like the nurturing that the feminine desires, not needs, but desires from her masculine twin, and, you know, the nurturing to that relationship, you know, this is her well-deserved reward for taking the leap of faith and going where she's being pulled and expanding and trusting that the universe has her back and that it's okay to move forward with the energies that are pulling her, you know, because we know, like, sometimes when you take a leap of faith and it's this blind leap, it's not an easy thing to do. It's not easy to let go of control. It's not easy to, you know, surrender to everything, and you will be rewarded. You will get what you want, what you desire. And the clarifying card is the Ace of Fire. So we have Ace for new beginnings. And this is a card of, you know, that your life is changing and new opportunities. And that's exactly how it's going to be viewed. Now, the next card for the masculine is awaiting results. And this card's facing the feminine side, so this woman is looking at the feminine side. And the clarifying card here is the Hermit. And what I'm getting from this is that, you know, after some of this nurturing happens, the masculine's going to sit back and he's going to be like, okay, so how'd this go? Is this good? Did I do good? Because this is new for them. You know, and the masculine is not as confident as we think, you know, as they may come across as. You know, they have insecurities, and when they engage in different and new behaviors, that's not easy for them. If they're being vulnerable, that is not easy for them. And so they're going to, you know, nurture the relationship, but then they're going to kind of sit back and be like, okay, I want to see how did I do? How'd this go? I want to see what comes from this. You know, because the Hermit is a card of, you know, kind of spending some time in quiet meditation, you know, and I feel like the masculine is going to be reflecting on, you know, okay, this is what I saw, this is what I did, you know, and now I want to see, you know, just like the feminine wants to get responses, like he wants to see how it's going to be received. You know, and kind of like, I don't want to say he wants to feel like, did I fix this? You know, because with this well-deserved reward, I mean, there's going to be back and forth and there's going to be banter and everything. But, you know, these cards are at a point where the masculine's like, did I improve things? Did I do better? You know, and they want to hear that. They want to know that they did better. And I feel like, and so the clarifying card, well, not clarifying card, but the card that comes up for the feminine is reach out. But this card is facing away from the masculine, And I feel like this card is kind of like a warning in a way that some of you may feel like you don't want to reach out, that you want to keep letting him nurture the relationship and keep doing all the work, but he's gonna sit back and be like, okay, how'd I do? And if he doesn't hear anything back from you, he's not gonna have that positive reinforcement that he's kind of looking for. If you get to this point and you want to reach out. Don't play games. If you want to have a conversation, if you want to talk to them, as long as you're doing it without ulterior motives or expectations or anything, as long as you're coming from a pure place, then do it. Don't, so it's like this and just with the masculine's card, the direction it was in, it just made me feel like it was like potential game playing, and you don't do that here. Do not do that in this connection. That just does not serve anybody. And the two clarifying cards that came up here, we have the King of Fire, and the King of Fire is about, communicating. So, don't fall into that trap of saying, no, I'm gonna wait for him to contact me. Like, no, communicate with him. And if there's things you want to talk about, it's, be a leader. You can start the conversations too. And then the other card is the Two of Fire. And the Two of Fire is all about continuing to move forward, which is what we want with this growth in this connection. We want to keep moving forward. And so the feminine, you play just as much of a role of continuing to move forward with this as the masculine does. So the crowning energy that you are both coming into with this reading is share the love. And so, and with this card, when I see this card and I see the hand, the seed in the hand and it's cracked, it almost reminds me of, you share the love, but you're also allowing the other person in to see some of your vulnerabilities. You're letting them into that crack within your heart. And, this phase, this process that I'm seeing here is going to lead to, I want to say, a more sacred and more vulnerable and intimate connection than what you had before. And the clarifying card that I pulled here is have patience. So, even though you're going to be moving into a place of share the love, and it's going to move the relationship to another level, you still need to have patience, because you're not done yet. You're not done growing yet. And, the flower that is on this card is the lotus. And so remember, that the lotus takes its time, grows through the mud and muck before it blooms to become this beautiful flower. So, remember, like, you need to go through, you're going to go through some of the mud and the muck, and you're going to have patience while you're going through that to get to the beautiful flower. The grounding energy that you're both bringing to this is heal. And I'm, in this reading, I do feel like there's going to be some healing and shifting going on for those that it's affecting, because it's a big deal for the feminine to let go of control and take that leap of faith. There's going to be major healing going on with that. And for the masculine to be able to look at this from a different perspective and realize that he's not really been honest with himself, and he's got to change, the way he's been going about things, that's going to take some soul searching and healing as well. And the clarifying card here is have faith. And and I feel like so much of this reading is all about, going outside of your comfort zone and doing things that you don't normally do, and having faith that it's going to bring you better things than what you've been experiencing. The underlying energy that the feminine is bringing to the reading is embrace. And I feel like this is the feminine coming into a place where she can really embrace who she's becoming, and embrace this version of her where she's stepping outside the box and doing things that she needs to just have faith in and do, and seeing that it succeeds for her, it works for her. And the clarifying card here is treasure your loved ones, which is all about loving deeply. And what I'm seeing reflected in this reading here is that this place where she trusts and has faith and takes a leap of faith, she's doing this with a deep sense of love for herself, because she knows she has to do this for herself. But then, when she's in that period of reach out with her twin where she could play games, when she chooses not to, that is coming from having a deep sense of love for the other person, and having respect and reverence for the other person. And the grounding energy that's coming across on the masculine side is the solar plexus chakra. What I'm getting with this is there is somewhat of a struggle here with the masculine, that there's been times where, in situations and people where he's felt like his power has been taken away from him. And so I feel like in this particular dynamic, his solar plexus kind of goes into overdrive. Like he's trying really hard not to lose his power, to the point where he over asserts his power and tries to control his interactions and tries to, hold back. He holds himself back, really. And so this reading is him coming into a better place of balance in his solar plexus, and understanding that, that he doesn't have to be afraid of giving his power away. That he can, act out of love and be in integrity and still be true to himself without over asserting this need to kind of not let go of control and have the power in the situation. And the clarifying card here is act as if your partner is here. And so I do think that for, many of the masculine twins that they're not physically in the same area as their twin, out of sight, out of mind is kind of easy for them. Not to say that they don't think about their twin, but it's easier for them when their twin's not right in front of them to kind of compartmentalize everything and deal with only what's right in front of them. And, you know, and that's another way of them kind of asserting power over their situations, you know, because they just don't want to lose power again. And, you know, this card is about acting as if they are always with you, so that you always consider them. And, you know, and that's a lot of what is happening in the middle part of this reading for the masculine, is learning how to be thinking more about what it would be like if the feminine was with them all the time, and considering them and their feelings more. And then, as always, I picked an oracle card, and the card is Regeneration, but it came out in the reverse side. And I want to note that this card's a 46, which breaks down to a 1 for new beginnings. You know, and I really do feel like, I feel like this is a new chapter somehow, for a lot of people. Because it came in the protection message, or protection position, I'm going to read the protection message and the relationship message. So the relationship message is, the world is based on connections and relationships. No matter what loss has occurred in the past or even now, death and endings are only illusions. There is life after death, love after loss, and in this moment you are radiating the regenerative life force energy that makes you irresistible to love in all forms. Now is the time when you will see evidence of this new emergence. Can you feel it? Love is rising up to greet you. And so, like, I feel like that's a message to the feminine, you know, and it's applicable to, you know, where they are making this change of letting go of control of things and focusing on themselves. And things are going to be re-emerging for you when that happens. And then the protection message is, endings come in many forms, and now is the time to stop holding on to what must die so that something better can take its place. Nature's cycles include disease, decay, death, and regeneration. Let whatever isn't working in your life die. Don't be afraid to face the facts. There is no need to struggle or grieve. Whatever your query, let it go. You're about to be reborn. And I love that message for everybody in this reading, because I'm seeing it happen, that each one makes a change. They're letting something go that is allowing them, and is allowing this relationship, this connection, to be reborn in a way that could not have happened if they didn't let go of certain things. So yeah, like I said in the beginning of this, I loved how this reading came together. You know, and I feel like a lot of things are happening for a lot of people. And again, like, I'm excited to kind of see how this intense period of energy comes together for everybody. So that's all I have for you guys today. You still have like I'm posting this on Saturday, so Sunday and part of Monday to place an order if you want to get a reading with me. Otherwise, the only thing that will be available on my website are the mini twin flame readings for $35. I am going on vacation starting at the end of next week, so I won't be quite as available to get back to people, but I will also make sure that I'm checking my email, my Facebook page, and all of my correspondence, so you will be able to get a hold of me while I'm gone. I will be opening my store back up August 28th or August 29th. I'm not sure which date yet. But if you need something that's more in depth than the Twin Flame mini reading, that's when I will be open up again. So, like I said, that's all I have for you guys. If you are wanting to order a reading, my website is indigowingshealing.com. You can find me on Facebook, which is facebook.com/indigowingshealing. You can email me at indigowingshealing@gmail.com. And I also have a Facebook group, which is Indigo Wings Soul Connections. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And I will see you guys when I post my next video. Bye.